Hi, everyone, and welcome to this webinar, Start Your Forex Business in 60 Days or Less. And it's really the access to high performance in Forex trading now. There are a lot of you in here, and I just want to thank you so much for being a part of this and not wasting my time. I really like to be around people who are 100% serious and who are given to performance. That's one of my passions. So let's talk about what today is all about. It's really a blueprint for Forex freedom. And before I get into what that really means, when I say a blueprint for Forex freedom, let me give you a little bit more information. So I've been a full-time Forex trader for the last 8 years, almost a decade now. Okay, so that means that I used to be a lawyer. Now I'm no longer a lawyer. I now work and make my living off of the Forex. That's it. Okay. I've been very, very successful in what I've done. I've also been able to live in different countries. I now speak 3 different languages. I have been able to live between the United States, Miami, where my primary home is, and also Europe. I'm currently in Spain at this moment, in Madrid. Love to travel. So that's just a little bit about what freedom means to me. It also means not having to worry about how I'm going to pay the bills. Okay, and I'm sure that means the same thing to some of you as well. So a little bit about me. So I'm an attorney, a Florida attorney. I haven't worked as an attorney since I began full-time trading. Okay. I've been highly successful in investments in real estate when that was a place to be. That was a long time ago, before I was Forex trading. I've been a full-time Forex trader since 2006. I've worked in Forex strategy development and automation in C++, MT4, MetaTrader 4. I'm sure you're familiar with that, and TradeStation. And I've worked on joint projects with leading retail strategy developers in highly profitable and reliable trading programs. I'm honestly known to many to be an expert in the field of algorithmic trading. Now, my software has been used by and purchased by thousands of traders on every continent in the world except for Antarctica. Now, I'm proud of that one. Didn't expect that when I first started this journey. And I've established a leading exclusive Forex mentorship website called tribeforex.com. So before I go further, I've told you a little bit about myself. I'd actually like to hear who's in my audience and who I'm actually talking to. So I'm going to send out a poll right now. You're going to see a poll pop up, and I'd like to know where you are as far as your level of trading. So I've just sent out a poll just now. I'm going to give you a second to fill that out because I'd love to know who you are as much as you know who I am. All right, so the first prompt for the poll is, if you've been trading 0 to 18 months, okay, that's it, 0 to 18 months. That's 0 to 1.5 years, and then from 1.5 years to 4 years, and then 4 years plus, we'll consider you a veteran, okay? So I'm going to give you just a little bit of time to answer that so we can all figure out who we are in this room. Okay, so what we're going to have is, and what I've seen is, we're going to have varying levels of expertise in the realm of what Forex is. And really expertise is, it's really a broad word. Really what I want to say is experience. Okay, so quite a bit of you have voted. Going to give it just one more second so we can figure who we are. Be introduced to each other here. Okay, I'm going to close the poll now, and I want you guys to take a look at it. So this is who you're in the room with. Okay, you're in the room with 47% new traders. We call them newbies in Tribe Forex. There's nothing wrong with that. I've got some newbie traders who are making some really good money. Okay, they actually make more money than most veterans have who've been in the market for 20 years. Okay, so don't worry about being a newbie. It's a state that passes if you stick around long enough, right? And then 38% of you are actually intermediate traders. I'd like to see what you're seeing. Let me know, guys, if you can see this poll, by the way. Someone let me know that. Great. Okay, so And then we have 13%, which are veterans, which is awesome. Just great that we have so many veterans in the field here. How many years have you been trading? If you can just type that in for me, I'd love to know of the veterans. How long do you think you're the longest trader? 8 years. Similar to me. Well, full time anyway. I've been 8 years full time. Okay, so a lot of decade-long traders in here. Great. So here's what I'm going to say is that, yeah, a lot of decade-long traders really started. It looks like most people started right when the real estate bubble was about to burst. Good. I think Ron's probably the one with the most experience here. 10 years in Forex futures, 20 years, right? That's awesome. All right, so some of you guys are going to really understand what I'm about to say, and I'm going to say that the amount of time that you've been in this market is not necessarily indicative of what your performance will be in this market. I know 20-year veterans who still have a hard time getting out of the roller coaster ride of trading. They make money, they lose some, they make money, and they're brilliant people. Brilliant people. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and hide this poll now. It's not necessarily about intelligence, because a lot of us in here have the same profile. We're generally very intelligent people who are out-of-the-box thinkers and really given to really given to kind of, doing our own thing, clearly. And we try to think ahead of things, right? So let's talk about what it's going to take for you to be profitable, all right? So this whole presentation is about you being profitable. By the way, guys, my name is Marcello, okay? My name is Marcello Ducil. For those of you who don't know who I am, I've been in this industry for a while in the retail market, and before that, obviously as a full-time trader. And I was actually brought in by some retail guys who saw what I was able to do, and I'm going to get to that, because this whole blueprint that I'm talking about is not something that I have just concocted on my own. It's something that I have actually lived. So when you get in the world of what it means to actually experience this, where it's no longer conceptual, but it's something that you will actually be able to live and experience for yourselves, that's what this is all about. So Forex was built off the idea and the concept that everyone could pretty much do what I do. Okay? So no one is in here because, there are very few people in here who are in this room and who have spent their time, 10 years trading, just because they like trading. Now, don't get me wrong. I love trading. I enjoy it. But if it didn't pay the bills, I wouldn't be able to do it. Is anybody else in here with me? Because I think that we were attracted to this because of the freedom it could give us, the opportunities it could give us, okay? And yeah, we would play this video game because this video game is fun, and it really does appeal to an intellectual, and just really, it's just amazing when you're on the right side of the trade, isn't it? But that's not why we do this, and it's not why we invest our time and our money into it. It's so that we can get to a certain result, and that result is that we can have more freedom, more time, and more money. That's the bottom line. And if it's not creating that for you in your life, then it's not really achieving the goal that it's supposed to. And thank goodness that it did that for me. I was able to do that, but not before I lost a little bit of money. So what I was able to build here is what I call the FX business blueprint. And it's my blueprint for success. And whether you have absolutely no money, okay, and there are going to be some people here who have very little money, okay, to start with, or money to put into the market, or you have a lot of money, okay, which is always good to start with more money. But to be honest with you, no matter how much money I have, I'd rather be spending other money that's coming in. I don't want to come out of my pocket, come out of my my retirement account, out of my trading account to be able to live. All right, I don't want to live off of the balance, I should say, or of my nest egg, if you will. I want to live off of profits. I want to live off of that. Okay, and that's what this is about. So I'm going to get real with you here and talk to you about the blueprint, which I I've lived through, I've experienced it, and I've actually profited from it and benefited from it substantially, and I'm going to share it with you now. And that was my promise, that you guys would get benefit out of this webinar, this seminar, okay, your time with me. All right, so we're basically having this is the FX Business Blueprint, and so there are actually two main things that you have to do in my blueprint, okay? And it's very, very simple, and I'm sure that you've heard some of this before, or you've thought about it. Probably haven't heard it that much, but you've probably thought about it. So one of the things that you absolutely have to get is a trading record, okay? And let me just tell you, I'm going to get right to it. I really want to get right into the nuts and bolts of it, the meat and potatoes, if you will. It really does require for you to be able to do anything in this market the way that you want to, no matter how you slice it, you're going to need a trading record, okay? How I got into this market is that I began trading well, and there was a group who was watching me as I was trading, and some retail traders, some retail gurus, if you will, in the market saw what I was able to produce, and they asked me to come to they saw my track record, and they asked me to go to a convention. And it was the first convention I'd ever spoken at, and that's how my retail experience, or me being able to come to people and share with them the way that I'm sharing with you, began. So a trading record, a track record, can open many, many doors for you regardless of where you started, right? And so that's what you need to understand. So this is more about a track record. So I know that there are people in here who have small accounts, and some of my tribe traders are in that space too. They have small accounts, and they're so concerned about building that account up. You know, I've got one guy who's taken like $100 and turned it into $1,000 in the last month and a half. Now that's not what I want to do with my money, I can tell you that. And the more money you have, you don't want to do that, and you don't want to sit there stressing out over it. And to be honest with you, I don't know any investors, if you decided that you'd like to be in the world of money management, who wants someone to be building up their accounts that quickly either. Okay? They just don't. You want safe money. You want to be safe. You want to sleep at night. When I trade, I want to sleep at night. I don't want to worry about it. So forget about the money that you have now and think about the track record that you're developing. Is anybody in agreement with me there? Because it does take another level. There's something else to think about here. And it's natural for most people to get caught up in, okay, how much money am I making right now? There's a bigger picture, and I'm trying to get you there. All right, so get a trading record. So that's what I did. Got a track record, okay? And then all of a sudden I got more. And then you're going to leverage your knowledge. You're going to leverage your skills, okay, that you've developed and that you develop to accelerate your success. Okay, now you're asking me how you're going to do that, of course. And I'm going to answer that question. As you have questions, keep them for me as I get closer to the end, and you can ask me all the questions that you have. Okay? So here's a good statement by Rolly, actually. Thank you guys for submitting for responding and really being a part of this seminar. By the way, if you have the ability to speak, to talk on the webinar, then I'm going to let you go ahead and be mic'd. Okay, so let me know if you're mic'd, and if you'd like to actually speak, I'm going to let you speak. Okay, so Rolly says, some of us want to build our accounts, then start to trade low and safe. Yeah, well, I'm not necessarily talking about trading low. I mean, for me, 1% to 2% is where I'm at, and I like to sit there. But, you know, building your account can be built in many different ways. I'm going to share with you how that works and how you're able to build your account very, very quickly in a way that is safe, okay? So you're going to leverage your knowledge, leverage your skills to accelerate your success. And this is what most people do in this industry. That is a secret to many of the biggest traders I know. That's the one thing that they've done. They haven't worried about the amount of money in their account right away. So why is a trading record so important? So as I explained to you before, what a trading record really did for me is that it opened up doors for me, okay? And so really what happens when you have a trading record that works, when you have a system that works, when you have a trading record, a track record that's strong, okay, it really makes people sit up and take notice. They pay attention to you. They listen to anything you say, okay? And that's pretty much what happened with me. So imagine this. I'm a trader. I had just jumped into the market. I was living actually here in Madrid at the time, and I was as an international contract attorney, and hated what I was doing, hated what I was going into. I was a burgeoning attorney, and they had a leg that was working with a Forex company, a brokerage house, and I fell in love with that, and that's what I spent all of my free time doing. So then I decided that I'm just going to jump out and I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to become a Forex trader. And I had a little bit of money from some of my real estate acquisitions previously, and so I went into it full all out. Bought every book, bought every course, did everything that I could do. Listened to anybody who would talk about it. Sat all day and night in the forums trying to figure out what strategies would work. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about, because I'm sure many of you have been through some of what I'm saying here. And then began making money. Yes, I began making a little bit of money. Then I lost some, then I made some, and then I lost some. And then when I thought that I had it, and I started thinking that I really had this thing and I was making some money, then I started getting cocky, increased my risk, and decided, trying to figure out how I'm going to live off this money, okay? And I had a pretty good sized account, but I know how I like to live, right? And what did I do? I ended up increasing my risk and, taking some good trades, doing well. And then all of a sudden, the market turned and changed. The nature of the market, the fundamentals shifted. And the trades that I was accustomed to weren't doing as well, like the carry trade back in the day. It was a very strong trade for us. And that thing began to unravel and began to act unpredictably. And boom, I lost a lot of money. And I crawled into bed and covered myself up with the covers, and I sat there for 3 days. And then when I was done doing that, I realized that life was going to go on, and I was going to keep on being who I was, and I kept on loving this game and knowing what it could provide for me. So then I went back to the drawing board, and I learned how to stop listening to what people say and actually watch the results. Okay? Look at the results. And when I looked at the results, and then I began to design algorithms, okay? So I designed programs that did the research for me, that did all the number crunching and also took all the trades for me. Then I realized the power of what I had there and what worked and what did not work. And the things that people were saying that worked did not work, right? And that was just the bottom line. Things that I thought that looked like they should work did not work. And so that's why I was glad to be doing algorithmic trading, and now to be able to back test, forward test, and to be able to live trade the way that I was with my automation. You got to be careful with that. So when I did that is when I began to do a lot of algorithmic trading, and that's when I got picked up by these guys. So if you understand now where I'm coming from, when I got picked up by them, I built back up my account a little bit, and it wasn't a huge account like it was before. I think at the time it was 30 something, and then it grew to 50 something or 60. And they saw that, and they asked me to come speak at a conference that they had. And I went to that conference and I spoke. They were good, and a lot of people wanted my stuff. Next thing you know, I was selling the same expert advisor, the same algorithm, the same software, same strategy that I'd been using for quite some time. I began to sell it to other people, and they began to make money off of it. So that's how that worked. So people sat up and took notice, and before that, it wasn't about how much money I made, right? And if you look in this world, there's a tremendous amount of ways that you can help doing that. So let me ask a quick question, because I want to know who's in here with me once again, because I know what was for me. Is any of you, now I think there's a typo, not in this one, there's a typo in one of these polls, so excuse me for that. would any of you consider managing money if you could? That's the question that I'm going to ask. I'm launching it now. It's obviously it's all anonymous. So just be honest about it. Now, there are two groups of people here. There are people who just want to manage their own money. They don't want to be worried about that stuff. And there are other people who actually, they know that they want to be money managers. They want to take advantage of that leverage. And those are those two groups, right? So I'm going to give you just a second. Simple yes or no will suffice. The question is, if you could manage money, if you had a good track record, and you could manage money, would you? Now let me give you a scenario and why this is important and why you would want to manage money. And someone says, heavens no, why would I want to do that? Well, think about it this way. You have an account, right? And you're trading it. And let's say that you've grown your account and you've now got $50,000 in your account, which is a good amount of money. That's a good number. That's what I initially started with. Okay? And you take $50,000 and you're able to generate with it. So let's say in 2012, what we did about 129.9%. Okay, so on the $150,000, we created $194,000 on top of that. And that was, just doing one trade per day. It was not that difficult. Or we didn't work at it because it was algorithmic. You didn't have to do anything but let the thing run, right? Well, so let's assume, I don't want to assume those kinds of numbers. Let's assume better numbers. So the average hedge fund or the average fund is going to deliver between 20% and 30%. In fact, the above average firm will give you about 20 to 30%. Okay? So let's say that we did 50% per annum. And say you did 50% and on your $50,000. So now you've made an additional $25,000, and that's not bad. But are you going to live off that? I don't know. It'd be difficult for me to live off of that. So what if you had now about $1 million, which is not hard to put together with people in your life? And I'm not going into this right now, but it's just a point for you to consider if you would want to manage money. You had $1 million that you were managing. You had your $50,000, and then you had $1 million that were trading behind you, and you made that same 50%, just doing what you've always been doing. And so that's a nice $500,000 return, of which you probably get about 30%, which is the industry standard. And so now you'd actually make $150,000 plus your $25,000. So you're at $175,000 return. Does that make more sense? So the question again is, how would you consider being a money manager if you could? Just a question. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this up, and something for you to consider, because some people don't consider the possibilities of what it means when you actually do this. Instead of chasing it, you actually have the opportunity to live it, and how you're going to go about achieving all of your goals. Just because you know how to trade, just because you're able to make a little bit of money, does not necessarily mean that you're going to be able to live off that money, right? Because you got to build the account up. Okay, it looks like I've changed some people's minds. Thanks, Mark. Good stuff. All right, so we pretty much have the numbers here, and I'm going to share it with you again. All right, so 70% of you say yes, and 30% of you say no. So I'd like to hear from one of the no's to see what that means and why you would say no. Given the obvious benefits. Good. I like that, Karen. Thank you. So Karen says too much anxiety. I like that. Good. That's being real. I really appreciate that. Too much stress. There you go. And who wants another job? Oh, that's good. I like that one. Okay. Good stuff, guys. I like this. So you think it's a job, it's stressful, and it produces anxiety. I get it. If you could remove the anxiety, remove the stress, and it not take you more than 10 or 15 minutes per day, would you do it? Karen, Pat, and Jis? I think that's Giselle maybe. Well, see, that changes everything, doesn't it? That's the point. So let me say this, that it does change over time. Yes, absolutely. You look at it with more interest, of course, because the benefits certainly outweigh what you consider to be the obvious detriments. So, I don't want to go too deep into this, but I did want to bring that up because there's something there. There's clearly benefits there, and that's leveraging your skill set, and it's one of the ways that you can leverage your knowledge base, okay? So I'm going to come back to that question in just a bit. So the bottom line is that if you even if you have a small account, you can make a full-time living if you can produce results. Okay? And people are doing it all the time. They're doing it all over the world. I did it that way in the beginning. Many people do that. Okay? And that's why you want to work on your track record as opposed to just trying to make as much money as you can. Now, here's a detriment to just trying to put high leverage and trying to put together as much money as you can, is that when the market turns against you, and it will, you're going to have a drawdown at some point. It doesn't matter how good you are. I've been doing this full time, literally, the first few years, I had to at least put in, I don't know, 80 hours a week, maybe more, 100 hours a week, just because I loved what I was doing and because I was doing all the algorithmic trading, and I'm crazy like that, right? Even with that, there are times where you're going to suffer some form of a drawdown where the market's going to change in a way that you did not expect it to. So in my best time, like last week, were any of you guys in the trade room last week? Were you a part of Tribe in the 7-day trial in Tribe Forex? Anybody? Yeah. So you may have witnessed that we had multiple trades. I think we had 20 or 15 that we actually took, 16 that we set up for, and we actually took 9 of them. The market gave us 9 of them, of which we scored 100% of them. Okay? Now that's a high win ratio. Generally we get 80%. So sometimes it's going to be 60%, sometimes it's going to be 100% or 90-something%, and it averages out to about 80%. What happens if you had all of those 15 to 20% losses all in a row when you're leveraging your account? You're going to destroy your account. And not just that, it's too stressful. Like Pat and everybody and Karen was saying, okay? I think it's Giselle, I don't know. So think about that. It's just too stressful when you trade that big. And that's a part of the reason why people lose money. And it holds you back because when you have that big drawdown, it makes you push yourself again. You don't want to trade anymore. And then when you finally trade, you're emotionally torn. It's just a whole lot of rigor, and you just don't want to deal with that, right? And so that's where I come from on this. And you trade worse like that. So let me share with you what we do here at Tribe Forex. One of the things we do. So we do 2 things. Number 1 is we obviously trade. Okay? And I'm going to talk to you about trading in a little bit. So you got to trade to get these results. Okay? But once you trade to get the results, you've got to consider, how am I going to make my living off of this? Because that's the only way I'm going to get great at it. And it's the only way that I'm going to get what I want out of this market, because no one came in this market to just trade and go to a job every day. That's not the point. Some of you love your jobs and you want to keep it. Great. Keep doing it. That's great. But at least you'll have options, right? Build your accounts in the right way. So one of the things I did, and what I did obviously is what I'm doing with you here, is by helping others achieve their goals, you can accelerate the growth of your own account. That's what a money manager does. That's what someone in my field, what I do as on the retail side, that's what we do as well. I'm giving you the opportunity. I'm helping you to get somewhere, okay? So it's not, it's something that I really enjoy doing, but it's certainly not in any way without its benefits. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is talk to you about performance, because performance is how money is made. Performance is how you're going to get to all of your goals. Whether your goal is just to manage your own account, it's going to be about performance. Or whether your goal is to manage other people's accounts, it's going to be about performance. It doesn't matter. I'm going to say it again. It doesn't matter how big your account is today. If you can perform, if you can deliver results, which is performance, you will absolutely be able to create the life that you love through Forex trading. Forex is not like the stock market. It is not like even the commodity market. It's a completely different animal, which gives us tremendous opportunities to benefit and to profit. Oops, thank you guys. I didn't take the quiz off. So you missed my last slide. No big deal. So you get it. By helping others, you can accelerate the growth of your own account. Thank you guys for that. All right, so here we are. And we're at the point where we got to talk about performance, okay? So how does trading performance work, and what is it going to take for you to be a performer, okay? Because that's what this is about. Either way, if you want to trade your own accounts, if you want to trade other people's accounts, or if you want to get them and help them to getting to their goals the way that I do, okay? Any way you put it, you've got to perform. Unless you're just a shyster, you're not the real deal, right? And that's not what we're about. So here's one of the things that I do. Over the years, I've come to this conclusion, and it's called, I developed this concept called the trading performance triangle, which I'm actually writing a book for at this point. The trading performance triangle. So 2012, picture it. In the month of May, I believe, April, end of April, beginning of May, I decide, hey, I'm going to begin to trade this account in front of all my traders. Now, at the time, I have this software called the Swing Trader Pro, the STP. And the STP has been running for years. It's the one software that got me into this business. And I decide what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the STP, and I'm going to run it in front of hundreds of traders every single day. Okay? And so whenever it takes a trade, we'll all take a trade together. And I'm even going to open it up to the general public so that they can take trades. Kind of like what I've done with the 7-day trial, but I did it for 8 months. So anyone who wanted to see these trades could absolutely see them. Just to prove a point that what we do is real and that money can be made in the Forex. So after 8 months, we accumulated, like I said, in that account over that 8-month time period, we were able to accumulate, do 129.9% and do what amounted to 194,000. I think it was $827 or something like that. The actual, if you go to tribeforex.com, the actual page, you're going to actually see the record underneath it. Now, what was interesting about this is not the amount of money that was generated. It was interesting to see that with a completely automated strategy that was traded in front of people daily, certain people had different results. And you have to understand, with thousands of traders, I was eventually going to have somebody who was, going to blame somebody for their loss. And so there was this guy who blamed me for his loss and went all over the internet, just, blasting me about this software. The record was right there. It was done every single day in front of hundreds of traders. But that's the way that it was for him. And that's how people are. So what I found out was that it's not just a strategy, and it wasn't just the execution, but there was something called trading integrity that was necessary for you to get trading performance. Okay? So these three elements, if you have all three of these elements together, I began doing a deep study to figure out what it was going to take to make sure every person, including myself, could have performance in trading and what it was going to require. Okay? what was going to take. And what it was going to take is these three elements. If these three legs were intact, there was going to be performance. Okay? So I'm going to make this quick, and it's very, very simple and very easy. But listen, guys, this is something you want to hold on for yourself. Okay? So trading integrity. Let's talk about that really quickly. And so let me just say this. If there's a loss of power in your trading, and this is where I'm going to give you value. If there's a loss of power in your own trading, it comes from a breakdown in one of these three legs. How have I been able to do and produce the results that we have produced, that you saw us produce this last week? It's by this very simple concept called the trading performance triangle. Whenever we have a drawdown or something happens, I've got to look at it, and I look in each of these legs to figure out if there's something missing, and I put it in. That's it. So let me explain to you very quickly what this is, because I don't want to go into a deep study of it. I want you to understand that I understand, and at the end of this, I want you to consider being a part of Tribe Forex, because we've got it done. We've got it down here. So there are three components. There's the FX performance triangle of the FX performance triangle. There's the integrity, planning your trade and trading your plan. Okay. There's a strategy, which is using a high probability and low risk strategy. Okay. And it's got to be proven, of course. And there's also execution. You've got to execute flawlessly. Okay. So that's very simple. So you've got to have a high probability, low risk strategy that has been battle tested. It's already been out there. It's already been used. You've already been testing it, back testing it, forward testing it. It's got to be already profiting. If it hasn't been profiting and you don't know that, then you've got the wrong strategy. I'm not even going to get into that right now, because there's a whole nother level to get into on that, and I won't get into it here. I just want to give you an overview. If you want to know more about it when you join Tribe, I'm going to do a full study on it, because it's going to change your life. All right, so integrity. Let's talk about integrity really quickly and why 90% of traders lose money. So how do you like my drawing here? Here's the reality. True story. There is a monster under your bed, all right? Under your FX bed, I call it. So this whole idea of the Forex market maker. The Forex market maker does exist. But here's the reality of this, is what I'm going to tell you why most people lose money. This is what most people look like. Have you ever had that happen to you? Where you're in a trade, right? And as soon as you get into the trade, so the market's moving up sharply. And this is what's happened to me, okay? I'm in the market, okay? And I'm seeing the market move up, and it's moving up hard. And it's breaking through levels that I didn't think it was going to break through. And then it's continuing to move up, and I'm thinking, man, I'm not in this trade. I got to get in on this thing, right? And I get in, finally I get in thinking, man, this thing is just going to run away. And as soon as I get into the trade, it turns around and it comes all the way back and stops me out. It's as if they were watching my individual, my little bitty account, and they turned it. They had a joystick and they just turned it down and waited for me to get in the trade, and they just turned it around on me. I know that's happened to you. It's happened to me a million times, right, in the past. And so I'm going to talk to you about that, because this gets back to the integrity. Very, very important concept. And why we use automated trading, and why you have to be a master of yourself before you can be an effective trader. Okay? So that's the monster on your bed. It's the Forex market maker, right? Does he really look at your account? Absolutely not. You guys are funny. I love these comments. You know, is he really looking at your personal account? Absolutely not. You know, does the broker have enough push to push your account all the way, you know, to its stop loss when it's 50 pips away? No, of course not. Now, can they manipulate spreads? Yes, they can. They manipulate spreads all the time. Do they have limited manipulation? Yes, they do, but it's limited. Okay? A lot of the time, it's you who are giving the Forex market maker your power. So hear this. This is what happens. This is what people do. Human beings react. Okay, so if someone yells at you, what are you most likely to do? You're going to get offended. You're going to have some kind of defensive mechanism. Some of us pull away. Some of us, yell back. Some of us get offended. Some of us get revenge, right? Whatever it is, we react to things. This is what the market maker relies on. 90% of people react in the exact same way. Okay? So I'm not talking about a boogeyman or a this monster under your bed. I'm talking about what's really happening in the market. They'll drive it in one direction, then pull it back the opposite direction and really take out the stops. It's really happening. Are they looking at your account? No, they're not. They know that if they drive it in one direction, that you're going to freak out. And if you're in a sell and they drive it up, you're going to get out of your sell before it hit its stop loss. And if you're out of the market and you see it driving up, you're going to go and say, I got to get in a part of this. Your greed's going to kick in and you're going to want to be in it. So that's what they rely on, and that's how the market maker makes his money. Very simple, powerful. So we give them completely our power. Yeah, they find us at our levels. Absolutely, Major. Yeah. So that's one of the things you have to understand, but you got to understand where those levels are. And that's what we do at Tribe Forex. It's one of the things that we do, but we automate it. So for me to be successful, I had to get out of my own way so that I could be successful as a trader. Because I was the one that was wrecking myself. I was smart enough, so were you, but it wasn't about intelligence. It was about my emotional intelligence and my ability or my own execution that was causing me to make mistakes in the market. So really quickly, let me give you an example of this. Casinos have integrity, by the way. And you're like, how do casinos have integrity? What happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas, right? Well, let me explain what that means really quickly. So a casino, you know that the gaming industry racks up about $85 to $100 billion per year, right? And they give you they comp your hotel, they comp your restaurant, they comp shows, they black out the windows and they make you sit inside this room and just keep on gambling, right? Having a good time, more drinks, more this, more that, so that you can take more transactions because the probability is on their side. They are the house, okay? And so when you understand that, you'll understand that this is exactly what happens, number one, with your broker, who's just picking up the transactional costs, and also with the market makers, because they know that over time they're going to make more money. Now, the casino's a system, okay? It's a system that's worked for hundreds of years. It's calculated, battle-tested, focused on the long-term profit. We're in 2014 right now, and that casino is still running the same way, more or less, that it had 200 years ago. Okay, same games that they were playing then, roulette, etc., they're still playing now because they know eventually they're going to win. Will a gambler come out on top every now and then? Yes, absolutely. But the long-term predictable probability of success is going to go to the house. So a gambler is individual, emotional, untested, and focused on the rush of a few scattered wins. And so unfortunately, traders mirror the gambler. This is the key to becoming the house, is that we stop being like the gambler and we begin to mirror being what it's called to be the house. So what is that? Trading integrity is really planning your trade and trading your plan. Now look, like I said, I had an automated strategy. I put it on. All you had to do was sit there and let it run for, months, and it would have taken the trades for you. But people go back and they look at their account, and all of a sudden it takes 2 trades in a row that are losses. And what do they want to do? They want to get out. And then what happens when they go back and they see that the trades have been winning? What do they want to do after it's had a 5-trade win in a row? Like it's been running, right? What do they want to do? They want to get in at the peak of that. So they're taking the loss, and then they're getting ready to take another loss, most likely, unless they get lucky. And that's what most people do. So it doesn't matter what strategy they use, they're going to mess themselves up. So integrity is really foundational. You can have a great strategy. You can even have automated execution, and you can screw yourself up with a lack of trading integrity. Okay? And this obviously is the trading account that I was talking about. You can go on the site, you can see some of it there. And this was really foundational in what I created thereafter, which is a completely different idea as a concept that gave me more consistency than ever before. And it was this idea, which is the triangle, the performance triangle. So one of the things that we do to go from gambling to lifetime success is that we focus on 3 areas. Number 1 is called capital preservation. We always use stop losses. Guys, folks, I know that there's some good trading systems out there that don't use stop losses. Don't ever use them. I'm sorry. I love some of the systems that are out there. I love the results that they are getting, but if they don't have a stop loss, it's just a bad idea. I lost a lot of money not trading with a stop loss, and it had been doing very, very well for quite a bit of time, for like a year and a half. It was phenomenal. And then all of a sudden, when the market turned and that thing didn't come back and I didn't have a stop on it, and the guru that I was following at the time didn't take the trade off, just disappeared actually, then who was left footing the bill? It was me. Always use a stop loss. So that's capital preservation. Capital appreciation means that we take a little bit of profit no matter what happens on a trade. All right? So I like to hit home runs, but I'll take base hits too. But what happens if you could hit a base hit and hit a home run at the same time? That's what we do here at Tribe Forex. So here's what we do. Here's a concept that we have. We actually take 2 trades when we enter. I'm going to show you a trade in a second, okay, from last week in the 7-day trial. But basically 2 trades. So we take one that goes to a fixed take profit, so it gets that tick, moves the stop loss to break even, and the second one continues to run. And if the market runs off for 100, 200 pips, then we'll get that 100, 200 pips. This is why we made 738 pips last week. That's what we call capital explosion. Okay? So that's the strategy. So here's the strategy that you guys have seen. All right? This is a strategy that you guys experienced there in the Tribe Forex on the 7-day trial. Okay? And basically, this shows, going back to March is when we really began to track it and set this thing up. And you can see March, we made profit all the way through. Biggest month was actually July. And that's actually a low yielding month for most people, but we actually did quite well. And we're already in October, and October is doing well. Okay? So let me give you some more stats. So March was a 20% gain. July, 30% gain. And this is on this particular strategy, we're using 1% risk per trade is what we're using on this particular strategy. Now you're going to notice that things are all over the place here. This, at the time right now, I believe it's about 75 to 77% win ratio right now is where it's at. And this is the equity curve. It's not perfect. All right? It's just not perfect. It's got some drawdowns and it goes sideways sometimes. Use a bar trailing stop, Rick. Just a simple bar trailing stop. So guys, where you see where you have this dip here and then you don't see another line until all the way up here, it's because that was capital explosion. This is capital explosion. This is capital explosion. Down here, if you can see my cursor, it's capital explosion, capital explosion, capital explosion. So it doesn't happen every day, but these are the upticks that we take. And then all of a sudden when the market decides to move big, we're able to take advantage of those profits. Now look, having said that, none of this makes any sense until you get to see it for yourself. Now if I told you we made 738 pips profit and you didn't get to see it for yourself, you wouldn't have believed it. That's why I made you come into my trading room. I taxed my staff with all the customer service calls. People wanted to know and answer questions for how to use the software that I gave you guys, and that sort of thing. I did that so that you could see it because you wouldn't believe me if you didn't see it for yourself. Right? So anyway, so that's what we've got. That's what's going on there. This is actually, on this one, it's a sizable gain here. All right, so this is actually how price did. This is actually one of our tribe members during your 7-day trial. So you wanted to see what it was. So you can go to MyFX Books and actually see this account so that you can verify it for yourself. And it's actually going to be on the sales page that I'm going to take you to in not too long from now. So you can verify it for yourself. So during your 7-day trial, there was a 21.75% gain on this account. In fact, there was more. But guess what? Ricky, who the owner of this account is, the guy who was trialing this, he decided that today, when we didn't take a trade, he decided to take a trade. Right? All by himself, because that's what people do. Even with all these wins, he decided to do his own thing. Right? And as a result of doing his own thing, he ended up taking a loss here today. Small loss. It was about 1% loss, but still, take a loss. And that's what I'm talking about, trading integrity. It's not as easy as it sounds. You could win, and you could still want to do that. So I'm going to give you the website now for the sales page. Not now, but in a little bit. So how does this work? How does our program work with the Forex performance triangle? Okay? How does it work? So remember, I told you trading integrity. So trading integrity means that you're going to just take the trade. You're going to have your plan, and you're just going to work your plan, right? And then the second thing, of course, was the strategy. So we know the strategy works because we've seen the strategy. We've seen it live, and we've also seen it how it's functioned in the past. So far, so good. Okay? So this is actually the trade being taken live, or right during the trading session, the live trading session that we had in Tribe Forex. It was right after it had been taken. And I believe this is actually the auto bias. Okay. The software that I gave you guys to test. Okay. This is an Aussie dollar.
Here's a trade update for our Aussie dollar 1 hour auto bias. So basically I put my line at 88.14.2. It got me in a trade at 88.045, whatever reason, 88.047. And you can see that price ran down for about 45 pips. I started looking at it in our Euro-Yen trade that we just also caught. Beautiful trade as well. It's actually 50 pips, guys, just about 50 here. Just had a wonderful trade. You can see that it's moved to break even. Hit our first take profit, took profit there. We've got 4 bars, trailing stop here.
Okay, so I don't think you can hear that well. I think we've got some audio issues. Thank you guys for letting me know that, by the way. All right, so basically this was one of the trades that we got into in the room. Really phenomenal. I'm going to show you another trade in just a bit so you can understand how the entire process works. This is just a trade that was taken during your 7-day trial. I decided to highlight one of them for you. So this is it. So this is how we finished the week. Okay? The week ending October 4th. Check out our weekly pip count. 90 pips on the dollar Swiss, pound dollar 197 pips, 0 on the dollar yen, pound yen, Aussie dollar plus 187 pips, New Zealand plus 64 pips, Euro yen plus, I said Euro yen, plus 63 pips, dollar CAD plus 74 pips for a grand total of 738 pips. So going back to actually, you know what, I'm going to go back to this example, because in this example here that I took you to, we actually already hit our first take profit. So when we hit that profit target, we exited the trade, so we had capital appreciation. So part of that money is already in our coffers, it's already in our account, it's in our balance now. Now what you're witnessing here is the second position, which is going to run, and the auto bias in this case is actually going to wait for the optimal level to get out, which is going to be a bar trailing stop. Okay? So this is actually our second position. It's running down, and it ends up running down, guys, for I believe 120 pips. Okay? So you imagine a trade that was due for 20 pips, runs off for 120 pips, then you can understand how how easily with 1 or 2% risk, how you can run off and get a 20% week, which is what happened there. Okay, so here's a great question. How many hours in front of the PC to get this amount of pips? Well, Mahmoud, would you believe that it would be 15 minutes per day? So you do the math on that. And we only trade 4 days a week. 15 minutes per day. Guys, I spend most of my time not trading because I don't trade manually anymore. I use my auto rev, my auto bias, and sometimes the Tradematic. Yeah, we take the trades at a specific time, and the automation will actually get in on the trades. It takes it for us. We don't take. I don't personally take the trades. I set them up, right? I give you a trade signal, you put it on a chart, and the automation, the auto rev and the auto bias software that you see here, it's actually going to look for its precise entry. Okay, and if it gets that entry, then it's going to take. Yeah, 6 to 7 p.m. I give you the entries, but it does not take those trades at that time. You set it up at that time, and now your automation is going to look for those trades all night until they're taken or until they're not taken. You can set your automation to give you an alert for a trade. Well, it's not a buy stop. It's actually the automation is looking for a precise entry point. And sometimes we don't get that, and it keeps us out of trouble. And yeah, you can trade it manually. We actually have a trading course where you learn all of the stop losses and take profits for the auto rev and the auto bias. So you could take it for yourself if you wanted to take it manually. It's MetaTrader 4. And I do have a TradeStation version of it, but it's I don't retail trade or retail sell my TradeStation stuff because I've never done it before, so I don't know how. Now I've been retail selling MetaTrader 4 programs for many years now, so. All right, so let's keep on going, guys. I want to wrap this up for you really quickly. So how do I do this, and how have we gotten the results that we've had with these high percentage trades, and also not just that, but also the very, very high producing profit factors? You know, anything over 2.0 profit factor, which means for every dollar we risk, we make $2, is great. But these are 3, 2.5, 3, 3.5, and even 4. Depending on the currency pair, 4 to 1 profit factors. Those are ridiculous profit factors, and you can understand how those pips can really accumulate when you do that. And it really just depends on where the market is and if it wants to yield those kinds of returns for us. So how do I do it? Basically, I like to use high time frames. So to make the actual trading decisions, we make them on the higher time frames. Now, I actually trade on the lower time frames, but the decisions are made on the upper time frame. Okay? So you understand. All right. So higher time frames are great to trade off of. They're higher probability, have generally lower transactional costs, and they can be taken at any time, which gives us a lower incidence of slippage in general. Now, there will be some slippage sometimes. But yeah. Okay, this is great. I love these questions. You guys are awesome. Leslie's got a great question. How do you approach the automated trading systems always blow up eventually comment that I've heard so many times? Leslie, I love that. You know how long I've been doing this? I have probably designed maybe 500 or 600 different automated strategies. And what I have found with every single one of them is that statement is true. Automated trading strategies generally blow up, which is why we use a hybrid methodology. Okay? It's less stress for me. And what that means by hybrid means that we make a decision as to where the market's going. Okay? This is our strategy. Based upon our strategy, the gray matter between my ears, the brain, has a better ability to analyze the market, especially after 10 years in this market, than any algorithmic software does. Now, can I design an algorithmic software by itself that can determine where to, the direction of the market, the bias, and do everything by itself? Well, I've done it before, but it required me to update that software regularly. I don't have time for that. I'd rather just be in the market for my 20 minutes a day, decide the market direction, and then take trades. And I'm going to show you how to do the very same thing. So what I do is I use a hybrid methodology. So the strategy itself of determining the direction of the market, we determine it with this system that we have. And then what we do is we just simply put a line on the chart so that the execution is flawless every single time. It's completely automated. Now, what is that thing going to do? I automate as much as I possibly can. So is it going to take every trade just because it gets to that point? No, not the auto rev. The auto rev is going to analyze the market to find the optimal entry point. And that's what I'm excited about. Yes. And so it'll find that entry point, and sometimes we'll have a trade and it doesn't find that entry point, and it actually works out in our favor because the market ends up running continually in the other direction. But because we're able to optimize the actual entries themselves, it becomes a much more powerful trade with a tremendous amount of profit potential. Good point, Major. So he says, so you use your cranial power to develop your bias on daily, and the auto rev takes the trades based on where you placed your line. Yeah, I would say that is it in a nutshell. That's it in a nutshell. Okay, so Hans got a question. How's the news impact to the auto trading program? So basically, we trade. It really just depends. Once again, gray matter, cranial power, if you will, like Major says. So, basically for the most part, we take trades, no doubt about it. We just, we took trades during non-farm payroll, and we actually collected. We made adjustments to volatility for it. Simple. And we did well. We actually took some profit there. We took less trades that day, but we took profit and we made more money. It was a great day. Right? So we may very well trade through news announcements. It depends if it's at a turning point, because the market, what it wants to do is the market maker wants to do is he wants to use those turning points to get the raw individual. He wants to get the average user, the 90%, to freak out when he sends it just flying in what we call a point of decision, these levels. And then when he gets to those levels, he'll turn on a dime. Great, Leslie. Yes. So basically, guys, the automated software will control the trade. The automated software, and I'll show it to you guys. Let me just go ahead and go through this. So basically, we use technical data. So basically, the critics say that past performance does not guarantee future results, and they are absolutely right about that. But there's a higher probability of future results if we have past performance. So I'm not going to take a trade or use a strategy that hasn't performed well in the past. Neither would you. We know that. That's common sense. History does repeat itself, and the market behaves in the future in the same predictable way that it has behaved in the past. Now, does that mean that we're going to get, just because we had a high win ratio in the past, we'll have a high win ratio in the future? Not necessarily. But there's a greater probability that we'll have a high win ratio in the future. Right. So you get what I'm saying, Major? Yeah, the probability is there, but it's not guaranteed. Absolutely. You and I are on the same page. All right, so we do back testing and forward testing to make sure that the thing works, and that's the bedrock of strategy development. If you don't have that, guys, if you're trading a strategy that you haven't back tested or you can't, run, or at least have fun with it and don't trade it on real money. So I've had plenty of eye-opening, pocket-emptying lessons, thousands of hours of trading and programming, and I've come up with these 5 strategic rules. Number 1, like I said, it's got to work on a higher time frame. Number 2, it has to be consistent. I like higher win ratios to higher yield trades. So I'll prefer a win ratio of 80% to a trade that runs for, a trend trade that runs for, 1,000 pips, but is only right 20% of the time. No, that's not me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to wait those 20% and sweat through 80% losses. Forget that. I'd rather win my 80% and take my profit wherever it may fall. Okay? So that's important to me. It must be consistent and have consistent wins. It must control drawdown, so it's got to use a stop loss. It must be adaptable and flexible. Okay? It must allow for the ability to take advantage of the trending nature of the FX market, and we know that. And it's got to be adaptable, which is why we use our own brains to determine the entries or the biases of the market. And like I said before, it's got to always use a stop loss. Biggest way, easiest way to lose your account is through not using a stop loss. It's guaranteed it's going to happen. Okay, so John has a question. Do we set the stop losses ourselves? You can if you want to. I'm going to give you complete rules to how to use this system, right? And you're going to get better at it over time. I want every member of Tribe to be a Forex entrepreneur. Okay, this is a long-term proposition. What I'm offering, I should be charging a lot more money than I'm charging for it. But because it's a long-term proposition, I'm trying to develop long-term relationships with you. Okay? And so in developing this long-term relationship with you, I'm giving you everything, and you're got to use stop losses, and the system itself is going to do everything. It's going to take the trades, it's going to put the stop loss in the take profit, it's going to calculate them, it's going to calculate your risk, your contract size, okay, unless you decide that you just want to trade fixed lot sizes, you can do that too. It's going to manage that trade, get you out of that trade at optimal levels. It's going to do everything. So that's something to consider. That's funny, Major. All right, so the rules work. How do I know they work? Because I've studied every tick of the market, I've automated and back tested them, and I've traded them live. And so have you now, thank goodness. Right? So let's get to execution. Thanks, Major, I appreciate that. I'm not a teenager. I'm 37 now. I just had my 37th not too long ago. So I've been doing this for a while. I got going young, graduated from high school when I was 15, and I've been doing this for a while. Okay? Yeah. I'm going to hang out with you if I'm still a puppy. Definitely want to feel younger. So the execution style, this is the last part of the triangle, guys. Trading integrity, strategy, and execution. Okay? So we've just talked about trading integrity and what that means, and it's important. It seems simple enough, but people mess it up all the time. Then there's strategy. We just talked about that. Very important. If you follow what I said as far as strategy is concerned, you've got a better chance of making it. And not just a better chance, you've actually got a solid something solid to work with here. But you also need execution, because if you have a strategy and you don't take every trade that it gives, then you're not going to get the full benefit of the strategy, and sometimes you can actually take all the losses and miss all the wins, which is why we automate our trades. All right, so there's this whole thing about discretionary versus automated trading, and we don't do this. This is actually more like a handshake for us, because we use discretionary trading with automated trading, okay? And so we know that automation means, for those of you who don't know, it's basically having machines accomplish what what has been performed wholly or partly by human beings. And what it does is it allows us to crunch numbers faster. It allows us consistent control of our trades. It allows us to get rid of our emotions. It allows us to back test and optimize. Okay? It allows us to go live our lives instead of sitting in front of a computer all day. All right, so discretionary trading, the biggest benefit obviously is that it's easily adaptable to new market conditions. Okay? And that's what you need to know. And it gives us a higher probability of success when the trader has a market feel. He knows what's going on in the market. So I'm getting close to the end of this, guys, and I know I've kept you a little bit longer. If you give me 5 more minutes, I'll be able to get to the end of this. But here it is. This is the Tried Forex hybrid methodology in action. Okay, so I don't know if you're going to get the sound on this or if you need it. So I'm just going to actually narrate it. So here's how it works. You check for trades at 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Thursday. Okay, I'll give you those trades. You're going to go to the website. This is the website, and there are thousands of traders on it right now. All right, and so if you've been there, you know what it is. This section right here is where you'll find your trade calls. So it says September 30th here is when we took this capture. Well, it actually traded October 1st. So this is when we took the trade calls, or when we placed them, and then it actually trades on October 1st. Okay? So that's first up. All right, and so then what happens is now you're going to take that and simply place a horizontal line on your chart at the trade levels and hit auto buy or auto sell. So let's go back a little bit. So you're going to simply place a horizontal line on your chart at the trade levels and then simply hit auto buy or auto sell. That's it. So I'm going to place my line here. You're going to see this trade taken. You're going to see that auto sell is already in place here. It's a euro dollar 1 hour on this particular trade, which is the auto bias. You see price get up to that point, give us an entry, and you see it go down. Now, we're moving fast here because we obviously made it go faster here. It's a 1 hour chart, so we can't sit here and watch it. But here's what you notice. Number one is we hit the first take profit, okay? And the stop moved to break even. I don't know if you saw that. So here, if you can see this, this is what you need to know, because this is what every day is going to look like for you, like Groundhog Day. Okay? You're going to get my trade signals or your own. You're going to put a horizontal line on the chart. This is the simpler version of it. It's going to give you an entry when it's ready. So we actually set this up hours before. We let it run. We go about our business. We go work, have fun, spend time with the kids, whatever else it is that we do. Have a good time. And we let it run. Watch television, whatever it is for you, right? And then all of a sudden it gets us into this trade, and you're going to notice that it hits our first take profit and the stop loss begins to move down. And you see it coming down, and then that's our trailing stop. It's really looking for an optimal out. And finally, it's not even out yet. It finally gets out on that trade. Okay? And that's what you're looking for. That's exactly how it works. Very easy. It's like this every single time. Okay? That's what it looks like. So the question is, do you deal with specific brokers? We can basically use this on any MetaTrader 4 broker. That's all you need to know, which was important to me. Before, in some of my old stuff, I had to use it on, a certain broker, that closed at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. That's another thing, guys. You want to trade, make your trade decisions based off of the 5 p.m. close, because the 5 p.m. close is the close of the New York market and really the open of the Asian market. 5 p.m. Eastern Time close. All right. So here's what's going to have to happen next, okay? So this is how you get started from here. And by the way, yes, you can use this on a VPS. Major, you're in the right place at the right time, brother. This is the place to be. Okay, so yeah, this auto bias is going to be applied to the 1 hour chart. Generally, you can apply it to whatever chart you want to, but it works on the 1 hour. And it works well on the 1 hour, and all of our studies and all of our forward testing is on the 1 hour, okay, for the auto bias. As far as the auto rev, you can run it on any time frame that you want to. I know some people run it on the daily all the way down. We use it on the 15-minute, which gives us a lot more leverage, allows us to make more money. It's more aggressive of a trade. So what's the difference between the auto bias and the auto rev? So when you first come in, I want you to use the auto bias because it's easier to use, very straightforward, and you can't mess it up, right? Auto rev is easy to use too, but I want you to get used to making money, and it's just so easy to use. The auto bias, you set it up, takes 1 trade per day. That's it. Okay? So it's just more conservative, and the auto rev is more aggressive. Because when you hit a big trade on the auto rev, you can have 10 pips of risk, and that thing goes for 120 pips. Now all of a sudden you're at a 10-to-1 ratio on your second position. So think about that. So it's just a matter of taste, what people are more interested in. So what now is a question. What are we going to do now? It's time to develop your trade record. Okay, we got to get a track record for you, and we're going to develop that track record in 30 days with Tribe Forex. All right? So that's always the goal here, is that we begin to develop a track record. Forget all the other stuff. Everybody's so concerned with how much money they're making. Get a track record. Get your percentages down. It doesn't matter if you have, $1,000 in your account or, $50,000. It doesn't matter at that point. The percentages win. So if you make 5%, 10% per month that you're making, then that's attractive to investors. That's attractive to everyone in your life. It just is, to anybody, right? As opposed to, instead of you going crazy and having like a 50% drawdown, so that you can get to $2,000, on that $1,000 account. No one's going to want to, work with you. That's just crazy. No real money anyway. So it's all about you having a track record for yourself. Your trade record is going to be important. You're going to put that together in 30 days. Now, you saw what happened with, and that's the goal when you first come in to try Forex with me. That's all we're working on. And then really, guys, what happens is you just share your results with people in your life, and they come to you. That's what happened to me. That's my blueprint, really. Next thing you know, people want you to manage their money. People want you to, they're looking for you to teach them. They're looking for an in whatever you're doing. You become just gives you tremendous amounts of leverage in whatever you decide you want to do from there. Now, I can give you at that point a step-by-step guidance on how to leverage your track record, whatever is important to you. Let's say that you don't want to manage money. That's fine. And you're not ready for it in the beginning. That's fine. There are ways that we can use right there, just by your knowledge of what's good and what works, that will help people who want to get in on that without you having to be a part of it per se, and still be a benefit to you, and you can create an income. And we'll talk about that inside of Tribe. Okay? And so what I want to do, and my goal is for an entrepreneur. I hate it when people say that they're an entrepreneur, and if you're one of those guys, don't take it personally. But I hate it when people say they're an entrepreneur and they've never made any money in what they're doing. It's time to make money. It really is. It's time to make money. It's time to make money and time to make a life out of this. And this is what Tribe Forex is about. It's where the rubber hits the road, right? So we're getting here to the end. So no more excuses about why you don't have success. That's what I'm getting rid of. No more stories about how you don't have time and money and how it holds you back from your dreams, right? That's what my goal has been with this whole thing. Tribe Forex is really your access to financial freedom. And that's what I designed it for. I built this website so it would be that access for you. So there's no excuse for you now. So first off, this whole thing, I don't have the money. Let's talk about that. First of all, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're in here for 30 days and you do not make a positive track record, or even if you just don't like it, you can always just get your money back. That's important. Because honestly, I don't want people in Tribe who don't. Because it's a community of people, so we need positive energy. If anyone's negative about it, I'd just rather give them their money back and let them go about their business. Go back to whatever they were doing, the status quo of their life. That's the reality. But so if you want your money back during 30 days, you can absolutely have it back. Go about your business. Looks like I left something out. There it goes. And so this is the website, guys, that I want you to go to. And I know you've got some questions still. I'll answer your questions. But go to tribeforex.com/live free. I couldn't think of a better way. Yeah, there's a Jadish, that there is a refund in case you don't like it. So, it doesn't matter if you made money. I mean, many of the 7-day trial people made a ton of money during the time that they were with us in this last week. And they can take that money and never be a part of Tribe Forex, and that's their business. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but, we do all sorts of things to sabotage ourselves, right? So, if you decide in a 30-day time period that, you've made money and you still want out, make it. Go ahead, take your money. It's fine with me. We really want a community of traders. We want a community of Forex entrepreneurs, people who are positive, people who are given to this end and who are absolutely serious about what they're doing, who are willing to support each other in what's important to them, which is, we're all about having more time and having more success. So if you come into the program, you're not happy where you are, and during that 30-day time period you want a refund, we will quickly give it to you. Absolutely. I've been doing this long enough to know that that's the best thing to do. So I say give it a shot, because if everything I'm saying is absolutely true, and you can create a life that you love, and you can create substantial income for yourself, then you can stop wasting your time. And your time is worth more than $597, because that's how much the course is, and $97 a month. You can stop wasting your time, which is more important than that, right? And you can actually start doing something with yourself. And if you reach this point right now and you say that you don't want to be a part of this, and really we have the results, go to MyFX Books. It's on that page, tribeforex.com/live free. Okay? You can go check it out for yourself. In that 7-day trial, that's exactly what came up, right? And that's not from me and not from another one of our guys. It's actually from a trader just like you during that 7-day trial. Okay? So you can understand what's possible for you when you get in the world of what this is. And if you're serious about having a life that you love through Forex, then you'll stop playing around and you'll get on board with this. And if you don't have the money, find the money. That's what I always say. People who get things done in life and who have what other people don't have are willing to do what other people won't do. Some people will stick with the status quo. They won't get the job done. Most people want to be with the status quo. But I'm believing that if you're on this webinar with me right now, it's because you've already made a decision that you don't want the status quo. That you don't want what's your probable almost certain future. Because your probable almost certain future is, at this point, if you take no action, is that your life will continue on the way that it is. And it's probably a good life. If you're on this call, we probably have first world problems, right? We're not starving. We have internet, thank God, or access to it, right? So we're not doing too badly. But it won't be the life that you want to live for yourself. So I invite you to take on being a part of Tribe Forex and really taking on what this means for yourself. Jadish, send support a message. You're going to have to talk to support about that. So go to info@tribeforex.com. John, I'm never on vacation, but yes, I do. I have a personal, I've been training Forex traders for years, and many of them are with me. So they do I don't take vacations, by the way. In fact, my whole life is a vacation, if I can be honest with you, if that makes more sense. So the idea that I'm going to go on vacation and then, you're not going to get signals, it's just not. more likely to happen. And of course, I do the signals with other traders, so they can also take that on. Thanks, Major. I appreciate it. Ron, send a message to info@tribeforex.com. I do have children, actually. I have a child, Marianne. I have a son, actually. Son named Mario. Yes, you get educated as well. So let me go through the website really quickly, and I don't want to take you off this page because this page is very, very important. Because those people who are ready to have a change in their lives, I really want them to get this for themselves right now. And my son, actually, by the way, Marianne, he traveled through Europe with me. You know, when I, in 2009 or 2010, my son traveled to more countries than most people have. You know, when we moved to Europe, I was traveling. Well, I've been living in Europe since I became a full-time trader and I actually got this thing right. But my son was living with me in the south of France, in my apartment in the south of France, my penthouse apartment there, and we did a lot of traveling, Nice, through France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Austria. So we got to do quite a bit of traveling. I'm forgetting somewhere, I'm sure, but he's done quite a bit of traveling with me. Okay, will you run just daily signals where you send out your trade calls? You know what? I got to tell you, Rolly, the problem with that is that it's not a full system. And I insist on giving you a full system so that you won't blame me when things don't go right, so that we can find out what's wrong. So this whole thing about the Forex, you know, performance triangle, the trading performance triangle, it's real. So we have integrity, we have strategy, and we have execution. If I send you signals, then we have strategy, but we don't have execution. Integrity is all on you, but by being and having the structure of an entire body of people who are trading the exact same way that you are in a social structure, because we have a Facebook-like website, it's going to increase your ability. Your structures are in place for you to be integrity with yourself, right? Because you begin to have this agreement around what it means to be a full-time trader, and you don't want to get left behind when everyone else is making money. So you end up doing it properly. No, I'm the lucky one, Marianne, that's for sure. He's an amazing, amazing boy. Okay, I have several MT4 accounts. Can I use the auto bias for different accounts? Absolutely, you can. You can use it for different accounts. Okay, are we going to learn the strategy used in order to be able to use it in the future? Absolutely. Because, George, I'd actually like you to become, I'm not going to quit, number one. And by the way, I am dedicated, I'm creating a community for the long haul. Okay, so I'm creating a community, and I expect us to stay together, and I'm going to take you all the way to wherever you want to go. So a lot of my traders are actually full-time now. I can name off a couple of them, but they're not online, so I'm not going to do that right now. I've actually had some who, I remember this, I had this 19-year-old kid named Jose who came on with me and later became a money manager. He actually worked with me and worked for me in FX Edge back then. So there's that. You're welcome, George. Okay, so there's some question. Any recommended broker in UK? There are tons of brokers that you can use. I'm an American, so it's kind of, Mark, thank you for being here. Yeah, guys, by the way, I didn't say this and I should say this. The trial. So basically the price of the program is $997. So I don't want to leave you out there like that. The price is generally $997, and we actually brought it down to $597 so that you guys could take advantage of it during this trial. So that's the reality. So, you know, don't sit on it. You know if you want to do it or not. You know, this is the reality. If I told you that you give me, you know, $600 today so that I can give you $6,000 tomorrow, would you find the $600? Absolutely you would. That's the reality. And I'm telling you that this is the $600 that you're giving today for the 600,000 at some point in the future or more. I really believe that. That's the reality. The price of the software is now, it's a discounted price for the 7-day trial for $597. $597. Okay, I'll post a link for you guys right now. Thank you. Thanks, Rick, because I wasn't thinking about that. Live free. TribeForex.com/live free. And you should be able to click on the link and get there. Yeah, so $597 is the full cost. By the way, I think I will be introducing a trade copier program, which will be completely hands-off. But I really want you guys to be a part of the environment and part of the community. This is why I'm lowering the price and letting people in, because I want to have a community of traders. I just came through England. I was able to make appointments, meetings with some of the traders that lived in England. I'm right now in Spain. I have traders in Spain, traders in France. I want to have you guys, and I want to have a community, and I want it to be long-term. That's my goal. Yeah, I'm working on a copier, and it's not going to be an additional cost. It's all included in the $597 and the $97 per month that you would pay. All right, so basically, Timo, what happened, he's got a question. I came in late, so can you explain the 7-day trial? So basically, I offered a 7-day trial so you guys could come into the website and see what we actually do at Tribe Forex, because if I just told you what we did, you wouldn't believe it. So last week, during that 7-day trial, we actually made 738 pips of confirmed profit. Now, if you go to this page, tribeforex.com/live free, okay, tribeforex.com/live free, then you're going to actually see a FX Books account, which was taken during that 7-day trial period by one of you guys, one of our traders who actually traded an account during the 7-day trial. Okay? I'm working on it right now. There's some issues with me being an American and doing it. So I'm working on it right now, trying to make that available to you guys. And also, there's one that I like very much, and I've tried different ones. So I'm trying this one that will work across brokers. That's what I'm trying to get, so that people don't have to move their broker. So I'm working on it right now, and hopefully I'll get it up in the next month or so. Sure, George, you can. We're going to be running this until the end of the week, and I actually have 2 more webinars just like this because we had so many people. Now, I have to admit that there's actually a cutoff period. We've got, I think it's about 250 person max. By the way, we had over 5,000 people who opted into this particular thing. So I just want to make that clear for you, and that's why I'm doing 3 webinars live. I'm doing one now. I'm doing one at 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm doing another at on when I think it's Wednesday or Thursday. Thursday I'll be doing another webinar, and then we have a replay. So we're actually doing 4 to accommodate all of the people who've been a part of this. So I just got to let you know about that. Karen, simply send a message to info@tribeforex.com. We'll get you sorted out ASAP. My customer service is 24 guys, just about 24/7. Okay, they're on the website as well, which is awesome. All right, so I put the thing in the chat, so I'm actually going to go to the website so you guys can see what you get, for those of you who didn't get to see it. Yeah, I'm not taking 5,000 people, George. We're not. We're going to max out so we can take care of everyone properly. Worst thing I ever did was get too many people. I had like 6,000 people using my software at the same time at one time, and it was just a horrendous process. It was a bad idea. I won't ever do that again. All right, so I'm going to go to the website, guys, really quickly. You have the link for it right there. And by the way, guys, this is a multi-trillion-dollar per day market. So I don't, we don't have to, this is, I mean, you guys being a part of this, we're just a drop in the pond. No matter how much money that we make, it's nothing. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now. This is Tribe Forex. Welcome, guys. Whoever did not take the 7-day trial and did not get to see this and get to be a part of this, this is Tribe Forex. Okay, so let me show you the major components. This is the FX trade signals. This is where we put our trade signals. All right, so all these are past. If they're highlighted, they're past trades, and it shows you the wins and losses. Okay, and of course, if it's not highlighted, it's because it's on the current day and we haven't hit a stop loss or a take profit or closed out for the day. Right? Here's the 7-day trial that we actually have. This is the equity curve of that particular account. You can click on that and go to the history and that sort of thing on FX books, my FX book. Then we have all of our traders. Okay, here's the actual. So not only do we have the FX trade signals, but we also have the daily analysis, which pops up here. It's right above here. Okay, really simple stuff. And then we have all of our traders, like Callie. She's a very seasoned trader. She's been around a lot longer than I have. Very good trader too. I'm very glad to have her as part of my team, to be able to trade with her anyway. And so we have these really great traders who are on here. We've got veteran traders. We've got a few thousand people who are actually on here right now as we speak. We have a messenger, so you can always talk to people. We have a live trade chat, so if I say hello here, it goes out to everybody. We also have live support. So there's a live support tab in the lower left-hand corner. If I tap on that, now I can ask Tribe Support for help. And we do all sorts of support tickets. We'll actually do, we'll do remote support tickets, and we'll actually go into your computer for you and fix things if you have an issue or if you just don't know how to use stuff. We're always there for that. Email support, that sort of thing. You can go to everyone's page, right? So you can go to anyone's page here. So if we have, like Steven, he must have just joined maybe. And you can see him and you can see his profile and everything that he's doing. You can friend him. It's like Facebook. And of course, you can post your own trades. People are posting their own trades with the auto rev. This is Callie's trade. So you have a full community here if you want. And not just that, guys. You asked me about, will you be able to learn the strategy? Yes, you will. Absolutely. So let me show you where you learn it. So there's a section.
Hello and welcome to Tribe Forex.
And turn that. We can disable this. All right. So we have FX Training Center. And in this section, what it has is it's got a quick start guide. You just download this and it gives you all the software, right? Then you have all the other software downloads in the Tribe Forex software download section. And it's got the actual reports and videos, tutorials, and that sort of thing. We've got the brand newbie training where we put new traders, like if someone's brand new to trading and we just need them to get started, they can go through this quick tutorial. It's 4 videos. That'll get them sorted out, and also the installer. We've got the FX Ultimate Trading signal, right? FX Ultimate Trading course. And it basically gives you the rundown on how we determine our trades. And it's very, 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 very good for that. And if you have any questions, you simply just ask away. Ask me. Post right there in the main area. People will answer you. We have the FX Continuing Education Center where we put different continuing education. We have the FX Case Studies, which every week we highlight a certain trade and explain why we took that trade, how it worked out for us. Usually we have screenshots and videos to go with them, live of how that trade went and why it went that way and that sort of thing. We have the daily market analysis videos. So every day that I do a trade call, I do the market analysis videos. You can see them here. Beautiful. And of course we have FX events. And in the FX events, it's going to give you it's going to give you the calendar. Let you see the calendar there. All right, so there's a lot of stuff to do. There's also a trade video section where you can look at past videos, FX case studies, look at videos that people post as far as their trades are concerned. So you can see all the different videos that we have in here currently. You also have screenshots. People post screenshots all the time on the website, right? And we also have, it's just a plethora of information and stuff that you can do here. Just a ton of stuff. And of course, you get the community. So now we've got the English group that is, they're setting up like a London, not London, I think it's outside of London, a London group who trades, and they meet together and they trade together, which is kind of cool. I love that. And we got that kind of stuff going on. We got community here. So if you're looking to be really successful at what you're doing, this is the place to be. And just sign up. I mean, really, there's nothing to hold you back. I really have made it such a no-brainer for people that if you don't sign up, you really got to question if you really want to be in this market. And I'm not just saying that because of my program. I'm saying it because I put it together because it's customized for you guys, for where I was, and for me too, because I love what I do. I love the system that I put together. I use it every day. I know it works. If I had someone who brought this to my attention and really gave this and put this in my hands, someone like me who makes this available to people, you got to take advantage of it before it's not there anymore. You just have to, because if we do hit max capacity, I'm not going to be able to let other people in until we're no longer at max capacity. That's just that. It's that kind of thing. Is the London group an online group? Yeah, I think they meet in person. They want to meet in person, not every day, but from time to time. They just kind of group together. I don't know how it works, to be honest with you. I was in London the other day, which was nice, but I don't know how they do their groups. All right, so here's the trade signal. So today it was the first day in a long time that we didn't have any trade signals. The market was just a little quirky, so we didn't take anything today because we like high probability trades. I mean, you can't have 80% and win ratio and take everything that's out there. Especially because last week we had such an amazing run of trades. There were so many trade opportunities. And so when you do 22% in 1 week, sometimes the market cools down on the day after that. So, maybe we'll probably get more trade signals. First time that we've ever had no trades. We've had one or two, but never had no trade signals. So, I'm sure that we'll have plenty today. So it's right here in this section, and the video will be above it. And the video comes out at between 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. And you simply just take 5 minutes, go to your charts, put the horizontal line at those levels, and then what you'll do is you'll just simply click the auto buy or the auto sell button. It takes 5 minutes. I don't know what time that is in GMT right now offhand. Okay, so Marcello, is the average risk of 1% for each trade that is put on? If so, how many trades can be open at the same time? How many percent can I have at risk? Thanks. Basically, you can open as many trades as you want. You've got to consider what your risk threshold is across the board and what you feel is fine. Now, we do have 9 currency pairs that we generally trade, and sometimes we pick up the minors, like some of the crosses and that sort of thing. But we trade the majors for the most part. So you could have, X amount of trades. It's up to you. Honestly, most of the trades don't always take because they don't reach our levels to get us in, or they don't meet our criteria for our software, right? So when they take, they take. That's how that works. All right, here's another question. Does it take only one trade per pair per day or multiple trades? Well, it depends. The auto bias takes one trade per day, per currency pair per day. And the auto rev can take multiple trades, but if it's a good day, I want it to take one trade. It's one trade that runs, does really well, we get out of it, we make our money, we go about our business. That's what I like to see. I don't like to take a lot of trades. Guys, this is not like work. It's not. You can get in and get out in 10 minutes and make all your money 10 minutes and not have to work an 8-hour day. Nobody wants to do that. It's a thing of the past. Nobody wants to work 8 hours or sit in front of a computer for 8 hours. I don't. Unless I'm doing something else, like raising money for worthy causes, which is what I do and spend most of my time doing these days. All right, so how many devices can I put the software on? Look, so here's the issue, is that we don't like people to, we obviously monitor the software because people pay good money for it, and we don't want it disseminated throughout the entire internet. And you don't want that either, because then I'll disappear. When people abuse our stuff, that's what happens. Someone like me comes along because we want to create something special, amazing. So what happens is that we give one license away, and you can apply for different licenses, but we also monitor your IP. So if you got an IP running in different places and it's not a VPS, then we'll know that as well. But it's your software and you can do what you want with it. And you can run it on different computers if you want. I know that I've got two for me personally. I've got one on my VPS that I run from, actually three, one on my office computer and one on my laptop. Awesome. Awesome. Is that Giselle, I want to say? Anyway, glad that you're a part of the group. Can't wait to see you guys on the inside. Yes, the software. If Owanda is an MT4, and I believe it is, I don't trade with Owanda, but I know it to be one, then it will work on their platform. It works on MetaTrader 4. No, thank you, John. I'm glad that you got to stay with us. We went over on our time, if you will, guys, for sure. I'm going to actually go back to and I appreciate your time. I appreciate you giving me 2 hours of your time, an hour and 50 minutes. Most of you just stuck around here. It means a lot. Oh, that's fine. Awesome. Got it. Well, welcome. Sure. Marcello at tribeforex.com. Yeah, David, we could work that out for you. The SL really does depends on the currency pair and the volatility of the market. Okay, so we don't use it's not like a fixed stop loss where you're going to have, it's every time it's 10 pips. No, the market doesn't work like that. Sometimes the market moves hard, and sometimes sometimes it's very, very, it has very, very small range, very low range, right? So it adapts to that, and that's how our strategy is. It adapts to that. Karen, don't worry. It's not $9.90. So right now we're running a special. It's $5.97. Our general price is $9.97, $9.97 and $97 per month, and we're running a special at $5.97. If you do not get that link, just write into tribeforex.com. But it's for a limited time, of course. You haven't found the percent of what? I'm not getting the question. You're welcome, Steve. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Marianne. I appreciate you guys being here. What's the maximum of what? I didn't get the question, Mahmoud. Absolutely, Anders. A pleasure. Thanks, David. Oh, drawdown. Okay, so drawdown, it really does range, but it's generally in the 3% range is the maximum drawdown that we've had. Absolutely, Karen. My pleasure. Thank you for being here and your contribution. Okay, on the 7-day trial, what you got was an auto bias. You got to use the auto bias EA. You got my signals, okay, for the 7 days, okay, and you got the community. You did not get the trading course, absolutely. You know you can't get that, of course, until you become a member of the community. That wouldn't be fair. You don't get any of the training center stuff besides the quick start guide, which gets you set up, gets the software on your computer, and tells you how to set it up and run it. How do you start with the program? Go to tribeforex.com/live free, and that will take you to our landing page, to our sales page, and you can read through the material there and simply just click buy now, and we'll see you on the inside. Thanks, Leslie. I'm glad that came through. Send a message, Marvin. I know that you were interested. I know we spoke at some point. Send a message to info@tribeforex.com. Okay, so Jeffrey, there's a good point. If I have issues setting up the software, great question. Great question. So guys, once again, if I go to the website, what you're going to notice here is that there's a button down here that says live support. You simply click that button and basically Tribe Forex support will pop up and you ask them. Now they will do remote installs for you, which is cool. Yeah. And you can also write into info@tribeforex.com and they'll also take care of you. We have great customer service, I've heard. People have told me that. So I'm really glad to hear that that my people are really taking on being excellent here. The price is $5.97. $5.97 and $97 per month. And trust me, it'll be worth it. And I want you to pay that $97 per month so we can keep doing this at a high level and also so that you will stay in the game, because sometimes you pay for stuff and you just disappear. Isn't that how we are? I want you to be a part of this and really make a difference in your life. Not just for you, but also for me, for the community. You guys contribute to the community, and I'm trying to create a community long term. Okay, so after the 7-day trial, there's actually a link at the top that you'll see. Let's see if I can get to it. So if you're a 7-day trial member, this is what your page looks like. It looks a little different. There it goes. And so what it has at the top is this orange-ish, yellowish, orangish banner at the top, and it says how long you have left in your trial and, to upgrade now. Or it says to watch the video for that day. Okay, so each day has a different video until the end, and then the last few videos are the same, I believe. But upgrade now. You'll tap on upgrade now, and it'll take care of that. So guys, yeah, you can use a VPS, Mahmoud. Absolutely. I would recommend a VPS for people. what happens after the 7-day trial. So you basically click on the Upgrade Now button, and that will take you to the sales page, or where you can actually purchase. Okay, so would the billing typically start on the day registered or beginning of each month? It would begin 30 days, 30, I believe it's 37 days later. Something like that. I know that some people use Forex VPS. It really doesn't matter. MetaTrader 4 doesn't utilize that many resources, so you can almost use any VPS and it'll work. I know some people have used Forex VPS, and I use my own private VPS. All right, guys, I'm going to leave this up for you. Yes, there's one called Forex VPS. They're okay, but that's the one I know. It's not the one that I recommend. It's one of them that I know. I actually do my own VPS. Guys, I'm going to get out of here. I've got another one of these later because there's so many of you who've been on the webinars recently, or so many of you who've opted in to this. So go to tryforex.com/live free, and I'll see you on the inside. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.